Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Food and Farm Show. I'm Gil Dominguez.
And I'm Cheryl Noble. Today we're coming from the Nevada County Growers Market, Tuesday Market, and it's at the Rood Center, and this is their second week that they started up.
It is, and this is a brand new market location for the Nevada County Growers Market. You may be familiar with this market that used to be at the Presbyterian Church, Cheryl.
For several years.
And now they've moved. This is, I think, a much nicer location. You're on grass here.
Right, and there's good parking and a good location too, and lots surrounded by the beautiful pine trees.
And it's still in Nevada City, so this is part of their Nevada City market. Of course, they're still down at their other location that we visited on Saturday,
North Star House.
The North Star House. And this complements their growers market that they have in Penn Valley as well. And we haven't visited the one down on Highway 49, but we'll get to that one as well.
Lots of markets and a few more opening up coming online too.
Yes, there are. This Friday we'll be at the new Brunswick Market, which is a farmer's market, and you're going to see that one as well. And it's just that time of year where the vegetables are all coming into play. The grass-fed beef is being processed, and there's abundance here in Nevada County.
Abundance. I got abundance this afternoon too already, including the beef-fed grass, so I'm anxious to try that.
Also on today's show, of course, you'll see another edition of Backyard Chickens with Janey Powers as she starts a brand new episode with us. And this one's really exciting as she goes more into detail about how to take care of your chickens and how to get the most out of them.
And also on today's show, we've got Ian Murray from Hansen Bros, and he's going to have a segment on soil amendments.
Because as we all know, it's all about the soil. You start with good soil and get that microbe interreaction going, and you're going to have great vegetables.
Are you asking me? Or you know me, I'm not the green thumb person. So.
No. But we're going to take some compost over to Cheryl. We might fill that for her tomato plant.
I haven't killed it yet.
Which she still hasn't killed.
Okay, so let's get today's show started. Be sure to join us every Monday evening at 6:30 p.m. on NCTV Comcast Channel 11 and Suddenlink 16, and in Auburn, ACTV Channel 20. And the best place to catch us is the YouTube channel. That way you can watch it anytime you want. And our YouTube channel is The Food and Farm Show.
So here we go, episode number 18, right underway here on your Food and Farm Show. When we come back, we'll visit with some of the growers here at the Farmers Market. You're watching the Food and Farm Show right here on the Touchdown Productions Network.
Briar Patch Co-op Natural Foods Community Market offers organic produce from over 30 regional farms and buys local organic produce from farms like River Hill, Sweet Roots, First Rain, Pyramid, and Mooney Flat. You can trust the Patch to hold their producers to the highest standards and always be certified organic. So get to the Patch, the Briar Patch, for organic produce.
Spring is here. Time to visit the Garden Center at A to Z Supply. We have everything you need to plant it, grow it, preserve it, and eat it. With a master gardener and full-time beekeepers on staff, the Garden Center carries a wide selection of organic plants, along with people and pet-friendly products. And don't forget our weekly workshops at the Garden Center at A to Z Supply.
Grass Valley Hay and Feed Supply is dedicated to the health of your pets and livestock. They offer the top brands of nutrition and carry the complete line of products from Bar Ale and Purina Animal Feeds along with Diamond and Canaday. They carry rice and wheat hay bales for your gardening needs, as well as alfalfa, grass hay, and grain for your livestock. It's Grass Valley Hay and Feed Supply, supporting Nevada County agriculture since 1992. Nevada County Farm Supply has been part of the agricultural scene since 1993. Their staff consists of a certified crop advisor, licensed pest control advisor, and irrigation auditor. In Penn Valley, they have a full-service nursery with over 500 varieties of plants and garden enhancements. In Grass Valley, they have a warehouse full of soil amendments, fertilizers, and nutrients. Nevada County Farm Supply, powerful knowledge and innovative solutions.
Welcome back to the Food and Farm Show. Let's go out and talk to some of the growers at the Tuesday Market.
The UCCE Extension is here today as well, and with me is our good friend of the program, Cindy Fake. Cindy, nice to see you again.
Well, I'm glad to see you here today. It's nice to have you filming in the market. It's really great.
Well, the last time we saw you, we were over at Jim Muck's place, and we were learning about growing vegetables on a big scale. And, of course, the Muck farm is certainly an example of big-scale agriculture.
Well, actually not so big when it comes to the vegetables. He's only got about 3.5 acres of vegetables. There's a lot of walnuts, and it's a large acreage. But actually, the vegetable acreage is actually pretty common for this area. That's an average amount of vegetables.
Well, it was a big farm for us to visit, and one of our first farms that we got a chance to get up real close and look at. And he gave out a lot of good information that week. A lot of the local farmers were in attendance. What was the feedback that you had on that from the people?
Well, people really liked it because it was very practical. We demonstrated a lot of different equipment, different seeders, different transplanters. We talked about all the stages of preparing the ground and different equipment you might use on different scale farms, because a lot of the farms here are pretty much at a low level of mechanization. So they might use a rototiller rather than a tractor. And then as they grow, they would grow up to a tractor. So we talked about very practical kinds of things in terms of preparing the ground, getting the seeds planted, getting transplants out, and that was what that was about. So a lot of the farmers there were newer farmers, so people just getting started in farming or have a year or two under their belts.
And what are we doing here today?
What we're doing here today is UC Cooperative Extension has what's called a Specialty Crops Grant from the California Department of Food and Ag. And our grant is to encourage people to eat local produce. So the goal is to help consumers know about local produce and eat it, eat more of it, and buy more from the farmers so the farmers are more economically viable. So we're sampling, and we're sampling a salad today that's made from ingredients that we purchased this afternoon in the market. So all of them come from the farmers here. And we'd like to get people to try the salad, then go buy the ingredients from the farmers and take it home and make it. Because we're really interested in getting people to eat more healthy food and to buy local food to support our farmers.
And that's a big part people don't understand about the UC program, is to really help farmers be successsill.
Mm-hmm. That's our job. We want people to be successful as farmers, and we want consumers to know about the great produce we have here. We're really, really lucky in this part of the world that we have such a variety of produce, fruits, vegetables, nuts. We've got different meats available here, eggs, etc. All of that's grown locally. It's fresh. You're supporting the local economy by buying those things. So it's good for everybody. It's a win-win.
It is a win-win when you can eat locally. Now, one event coming up is going to be the farm tour. It's coming up.
Ag tour.
Ag tour. I think there's still room for people. How would they get involved with that, or is that something worthwhile for people to go on?
Yes, it certainly will give you a picture of agriculture, and I think you can sign up either through the Nevada County Ag Department or through the Farm Bureau. Those are the two. There might be someone else, but I think those are the two main places to find out about it.
And, of course, the Food and Farm Show will be there on that ag tour. We'll be riding the bus. We'll be going to hear each farmer talk about their operation, and then bring you some interviews on the bus as well from the farmers that are attendants. And I think we're going to be able to get a lot of good information for people.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's really important to know what's out there, because a lot of the farms are open to the public at certain times and, invite people to come out and see what's there. And it's great to know what's around in your environment and, get to know the farmers. We're also trying to help create connections between farmers and consumers. In May, we did a big community dinner in Auburn, had farmers there and community members come and eat local food. We're going to do the same thing here in early October. So a big community dinner to eat local food, learn from farmers, make those connections. That's really important.
And so the work of the UC Extension goes on. Cindy, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with here on the Food and Farm Show, and we look forward to seeing you on that farm tour.
Well, great. Thank you very much, Gil. I really appreciate that you guys are so interested in all of this. It helps us promote it, too. Thanks.
Well, that's what we do at the Food and Farm Show.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much.
I'm with Tim Van Wagner with First Rain Farm and also one of the founders of Living Land Agrarian. Thank you for your time, Tim.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Tell us about your farm. Where is it and how big is it?
First Rain Farm is 37 acres in total land area with 3 acres of cultivated space. And I'm about 2 miles from my farm right now, which is amazing because
Short commute.
after selling at the Nevada City Farmers Market on Saturdays, I couldn't imagine that I'd find a closer farmers market, and yet here I am at the Rood Center.
I think they moved just for you, Tim.
Exactly.
What types of produce do you raise and grow?
Well, my site is specifically suited for some cool season crops because I have specific microclimates having to do with a creek that flows through the property and
Nice.
just the general drainage of that neighborhood. So I grow a lot of these greens, the chards, the kales, collards. I'm able to do spinach almost year-round and a lot of lettuce.
Oh, nice.
But I do a mixed vegetable production basically because I sell at farmers market, so I want to have a really attractive stand with a lot of different items.
Yes. Bountiful is
Yeah.
how I would describe it. And we were talking earlier, this is your second season, so you're still kind of a young farmer.
Well, I'd actually say this is my 6th farming season, but as far as kind of standing completely alone, like as an independent, farm owner, this is my 2nd year.
That's what I wanted to talk about too, was your kind of training and internship through the Living Land Agrarians. Tell us about that.
Well, when I first came back to the community in 2007, I started working with Leo Chapman, and then that was up at Bluebird Farm, which is up Cement Hill, and he and I, with Maisie Gans and Willow Hine, later created Living Lands Agrarian Network. And that was really a collaborative effort to help each other stand on our feet while farming and to support each other with
And learn together.
And through those years and programs, we helped train a bunch of new farmers through our internship program, and we all really kind of grew into our where we are today.
And what was some of your reasons for even starting with the farming and taking that on?
Well, for me, it really got back to this connection back to our environment and to nature, and I felt like in our society, people are really divorced from cause and effect of how we live on the planet. And I felt like food was this obvious connection that we all have. We all eat food. Food comes from the land. That's how it starts. Right. And so for me, it was how to reestablish that connection and to do it in a way where you're really caring for the land and stewarding it.
Right. And through the years with Living Lands Agrarian Network, what were some of the challenges, or maybe something that was unexpected that through the years, and you stuck with it, but there were probably some things you weren't expecting?
Well, every year seems like there's something you weren't expecting, but I'd say while farming, you really kind of, you get tested all the time, and you kind of have to just keep on going. You have to keep on working through it, and you have to really commit yourself to learning from how you fail. Farming is full of failure, but this failure is the opportunity to learn something new. And there's the whole gamut of things when you're running your own business, and then when you throw the weather and the factors of spring hail or freezing in the spring, there's a lot of things that can really bum you out.
Exactly. But now you have your own farm. What are some of the rewards of it?
Well, the rewards are creating something that will be there in the long term.
And people value local food, all of that feeling of being connected with the farmer. And you're one of the younger farmers, and I think that's important in our community as well, that getting young people to have their farms.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think, when you start to feel some success, largely financial success is what is absent from a lot of farming. All the other experience that the life that it brings and living on the land, that's all great. But then when you really start to have some sense of, okay, there's some financial viability in this, that's when it's just really uplifting, and that takes a while to figure out. And that's where the years of farming and figuring out, oh, okay, I can grow the food okay. I think I get that, but now I have to develop markets. That's a whole nother page of farming.
Always hurdles, see?
Yeah.
It's great. Well, thank you. I know you've got a lot of customers lining up, so it's all beautiful and good, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for the interview. Come on out to the market every Tuesday here at the Rood Center. Yes. And I'll also be at the Saturday market in Nevada City starting this weekend.
Catching up once again with market manager Chris Stillman. Chris, another farmers market coming online here, the second week for this one.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've had a phenomenal start. It's just been great. We've had lots of people, lots of vendors. It's a great market so far.
Now, what's the level of produce here versus over at the North Star?
Well, definitely we don't have as many vendors here. I think we have 7 or 8 vendors right now as far as produce, but when we have considerably more than that, probably twice as much or more on Saturday. But we're at an early market here.
Right, and this is only the second week. Now, this market, for any of you at home that were looking for the market at the Presbyterian Church, this is that market, only it has a new location.
Absolutely, yeah. We just decided that we had a little better opportunity to move out here. We're focusing on the WIC and the EBT programs here in the county, and since the county offices are here, it seemed like a logical move.
So how did that come about? Who approached who, or what was the conversation?
Well, actually, there was a proposal out within the county for a farmer's market to pick this up, and it was out almost a full year, and no one actually signed a contract. And so then they started asking the local markets to at least look at the proposal, and it actually is a grant through the Department of Social Services, and so in the long run, that's what happened, is we picked up the contract and the little grant, and here we are.
And that makes it so convenient, not only for the people that live in this area, but also the county employees can just walk right out of their office, and they have to be some of your bigger customers.
Well, so far it's been great. I think there's 400 or more customers in that building, employees. So, yeah, we kind of have a built-in customer base. It's been great.
Now, so we have this market right here at the Rood Center, and of course the one at the North Star House, which the Food and Farm Show came to you from a few weeks ago. Tell us about the market in Penn Valley.
Market in Penn Valley is fairly small. I think we're 7 or 8 vendors right now. We have the grass-fed beef there. We have Mrs. Pearson is our on-site manager. Well, we have just a nice variety of fruits and vegetables, and it's kind of based for the Penn Valley and the Lake Wildwood.
Now, the market down Highway 49 at the winery, is that one online yet?
We opted not to open that again this year. We tried last year. It wasn't extremely successful. I think the traffic just whizzed by too fast, and so we opted not to open that up again this year.
Okay, so there will not be a market for any of you looking for it down on Highway 49 this year with you guys.
That is correct.
All right, well, that's all good information. And, of course, like I said before off camera, I wasn't aware that you were managing all the different markets. That's got to keep you pretty busy.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely been a new challenge for me, but I'm happy to be here, and it's been a great start for us here.
Well, listen, thanks a lot for spending the time again with us here on the Food and Farm Show, and we'll catch up with you a little bit later in the season and get an update on how all the markets are working.
Great. Thanks, Gil. We appreciate you guys being here.
Here with Susan Maher. She is Nana's Artisan Bakery and Teas. Hi, Susan.
Hi.
I want to learn a little bit about what you've got here and how you got started with the bakery.
You know, my husband has a huge family, and I would bake for huge family events, and he can get 50 together for a baptism with no problem. So everyone would always say, oh, you should sell these things. And, you know, when my son started school and I was looking around for something to do, I called the Celtic Festival, the KVMR people, and asked them if they needed someone to sell scones. And they were so excited.
When was this?
This was in 2009. So
Okay.
that was our first event. We did the Celtic Festival and we did scones, and we sold out to the crumb. I mean, if I could have frosted the table and sliced it, I would have sold the table. And so we thought, well, maybe we're onto something.
Right.
And we just haven't looked back. We do 5 growers markets a week in the summer.
5.
We do. We do Tuesday here. Wednesday we're at Nevada City for the 3 Wednesday nights. We do the Thursday night downtown Grass Valley. Do a new market Friday nights on Brunswick
Right.
at Horseman's Arena. And then we do our Saturday North Star House.
At North Star.
So I spend the summer in the kitchen, and then I take the winter off.
There you go. Is now with the new passage of the cottage food industry, is that something that you went ahead and pursued? And
Absolutely. I was at the county office on January 4th. I think it was the first day you could get in.
because it became legal the January 1st.
Absolutely, and got my permit, and I absolutely love it. I've been able to upgrade some of my ingredients with the money that I save on the kitchen, been able to buy some better equipment, been able to keep my prices low for customers, and I can get up and just start baking in the morning and bring things warm from the oven to the markets, which I absolutely love.
Yep, right. And for some of those people in our audience who is not aware of the food cottage, it allows you to make food from your kitchen and get a permit through the county.
Through environmental
Right,
health, right.
right. And we're holding down the booth. But the breeze is nice. We'll take it.
Yes.
And we're protecting the baked goods.
Exactly.
So with the passage of the food cottage, it allowed you not to pay the rent in the commercial kitchen anymore, work from home, and as you say, deliver fresh goods.
Right.
So what are the different types of bakery items?
Well, we do a lot of items that don't have wheat in them for people that don't eat wheat. We specialize in things that are made from scratch, things that you may have eaten growing up. I like to search out recipes from old 1950s cookbooks or church fundraiser cookbooks from thrift stores. That's a great source. So we do date bars and oatmeal fudge bars and all kinds of pies and scones and cookies and cinnamon rolls. And we've just started doing bread. Since I can do it
Bread.
now, I used to have to put it to rise the minute I walked in the commercial kitchen and stay on it. And now I can just set it to rise in the morning and just let it do a nice slow rise so it has lots of flavor. Everything is made from scratch with no preservatives. I don't use any mixes. I use local organic fruit where I can get it, and just have so much fun.
No wonder this is popular. What would you say is the hottest item that people just got to have? The chocolate chip cookies, brownie?
On Saturday mornings, it's the apricot white chocolate scones and fresh scones with fresh organic fruit. And then out here, it's more of an afternoon kind of a munchy crowd. The date bars, the oatmeal fudge bars, the brownies tend to be popular, and little pies.
You know, I never thought about that for the different times of day, the different type of appetites and what you're kind of craving.
Right.
Interesting. So you might have told me in the beginning who's Nana, which Nana is that?
Nana was my grandmother, and she had a horrific sweet tooth. So we would give her a box of C's every Christmas, and it would pass once, and we would never see it again. I don't know if it went under the bed, I don't know if it went in the trash, but it just seemed like an appropriate way to honor her memory, because I certainly inherited that sweet tooth.
Well, you're very successful at the markets, and we're glad that you're here, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one.
Thank you so much.
Another one of the growers here at the Nevada County Growers Market is Mary Pearson from Marysville. Mary, welcome to the Food and Farm Show.
Well, it's nice to be here, too.
Now, you go to all these Nevada County certified growers markets.
Yes, we try.
So you're here at this one today, and you were telling me that you also go to the one in Penn Valley,
That's correct.
and then the other one at the North Star House.
Yes, my son goes to that one on Saturday.
Now, you've been coming here for a number of years. Is there any one market that you like or enjoy more than the other?
Oh, I think this country is gorgeous. Just look at the trees, and it's just beautiful where we sell.
Now, you've been farming for some time.
That's right. We moved to Marysville in 1955.
And what was farming like? Paint us a picture of what that was like back in 1955.
Well, in 1955, everybody used cannery boxes for peaches, and now we use bins. And we raise a lot of prunes, and we use bins in the harvest time of prunes. So things have really changed on the ranch.
Well, but in terms of growing the peaches or having the plums to grow them, what has changed, if anything, in the production?
Well, I'd say the weather changes every year, so that's a real, it's a real guess what we're going to get for our harvest because of the weather, rain, wind, you name it, frost. You just can't figure it all out. It's a big question mark.
So from 1955 to 2013, that's a lot of seasons. What was the hardest season?
Well, I remember in 1965 we had over 100 ton of cling peaches, and it rained 2 inches of rain in one day, and we lost the whole crop of our cling peaches, and that was the hardest year because we had a big mortgage and we had 4 kids at home. So it definitely was a challenge.
Those are the kind of things that keep you up at night.
Well, I'm tired at night. I go to sleep. But farming is a challenge, and you just figure, well, next year will be better, and it generally is.
So that's an optimistic attitude then that if you're a farmer.
Well, I guess so. Mm-hmm.
Now, what advice, a lot of young people are getting into farming here in Nevada County, and of course, as the farmers that we have age, there has to be young farmers to continue on that tradition. What would be the advice that you would give the younger farmers that are just starting out?
Well, don't give up. Next year will be better. I really believe it. My children will probably run our ranch after we're gone, and they're doing a good job at this time. So everybody has to eat, so I do feel we're in the right business.
And over those same years, what was the funnest year for you?
Oh, the year we paid the mortgage. And we also have a convenient home with air conditioning, and we built that in '65. So we've had our pluses on the ranch, and well, that's a real plus.
Well, it is, and it does give you some comfort to know that that's all paid for, and you just concentrate now on bringing the best produce possible to the market.
That's right. Yeah, I only plant the trees that I like to eat, meaning the fruit from the tree that I like to eat, and that really tastes good.
All right, well, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us here, and good luck. We hope to visit your farm one day.
Oh boy, anytime, anytime.
I'm here with Lacey. She's with Robinson Family Farm from Marysville. Hi, Lacey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. How long have you been a farmer?
Well, about 7 years.
7 years. What did you start out with?
I started out with a lot of what you see on my table. I've been doing squash, tomatoes, onions and garlic. Pretty much whatever is in season. We just plant for the season, and we also have a lot of stone fruit in the summer.
Oh, okay. Now, what is that?
Stone fruit is any type of fruit with a pit in the middle, like a peach, apricot, nectarine.
I learn so much every week on the show.
They're all considered stone fruit, yes.
So in 7 years, what's kind of changed with the farming business? What kind of changes have you seen or experienced?
I kind of, because I sell at farmers markets, I learn from all the other farmers what they're doing well and successfully. I learn how to rotate the crops to get a better harvest each year, and really I listen to what the customers want, and that kind of tells me what to plant more of the following year. So it's a huge learning curve, and I think I'm still at the very bottom of it.
But always, I think it's always going to be a process of learning something new and experimenting. And now, how big is your farm?
We have about 70 acres.
That's a big farm.
Some of it actually we rent out to other farmers who are selling here today.
Oh, I see. Okay, is this one of your helpers over here?
That's my oldest son, Drew.
What's your name?
Drew?
Yes.
And you're one of the helpers?
Yes.
Well,
I grow potatoes.
Nice. And then, of course, he helps out at the markets, too.
Yes, he's learning to count back change already, and he's just turned 10.
Is he going to be a future farmer?
He wants to be, yeah. He already has his own area of land, and he grows potatoes, and he already sold out this year the potatoes he grew. He has people coming back and saying, oh, I want some of Drew's potatoes because they liked them so much.
Really nice. You know, one of the things that we're missing, I think, in our culture is the gap between the generations. There's very few kids who grow up farming and then take on the family farm. So he's in a great position and getting some good training.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I think that's great that we can show the good, you know, there's a business in it for kids and that they like it.
Yes, he's learning everything now. So by the time he's 16, he already plans on buying a truck and doing his own markets. He's
goal oriented.
He has a whole career goal, already set up for himself.
This is good. You can retire then, Lacey. Is that right?
Yeah, I can do less markets. I'm just waiting for my kids to get older, and then I'll just supervise.
So which of the markets do you do up here?
Right now I do Nevada City on Tuesdays, and then on Thursdays I'm in Penn Valley, and on Saturday I'm in Grass Valley at the North Star House.
Saturday, great.
So 3 times a week I'm always here.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time and your wonderful vegetables and being here at the market. And Drew, keep up the good work. Thank you.
One more vendor here that you'll also see at the Saturday Certified Growers Market is Phil Zeider from Family Friendly Farms. Phil, nice to see you out here again.
Thanks. Great to be here.
You know, it is great to be here on a new location for this farmer's market. What's been the response so far that you've seen?
Wonderful. I mean, it started off with a boom last week, and then we were expecting that maybe they would tell their friends, and sure enough they did. Great turnout again this Tuesday afternoon. And we're enjoying meeting new people, enjoying providing some good food for them, but it's really neat to see their faces when they say, oh, I didn't know there was beef. I didn't know there was lamb here. And so it's nice to see their enthusiasm.
Well, small beef producers like yourself are there's just a few of you really in the county. What are some of the challenges that you have to face that people might not know about?
I think providing grass-fed beef and lamb that is tender is always a challenge. People have a little bit of a bad understanding, and they say, oh, grass-fed beef, that's going to be tough. But it's just when you grow it to the point where the steers are ready to be harvested, we watch them closely. We put them on really good high-protein grasses when they start to get toward their time of harvest, and they really bulk up and marble up really well. And they come out tender for us, and it's part of the challenge is getting the taste is always great. People love the taste, and it's always a question of how tender it's going to be, and then people now are very pleasantly surprised. And that's why we have samples for them to try. And their face lights up. Oh, I didn't know this was going to be so tender. I knew it'd be good, but I didn't know it'd be so tender. So,
well, part of the secret of that is how you cook it. You don't cook grass-fed beef in the same manner that you would cook a piece of meat that you get from Rayleigh's.
That's right. A lot of this is educating our clients and the good people coming by, and we not only talk to them about how to cook the beef, cooking it slow for one thing, but we also have little cooking demonstrations. We have our cooking booth right next door. We bring over samples from that, and as we start to explain to them about the nutritional and health qualities, we also explain to them about how to cook it and prepare it in a way that's not only tasty, but the most tender way.
Now, we were at the North Star House a couple weeks ago. You hadn't made your appearance yet, and that was because it just wasn't harvest time for you guys?
That's correct. We only harvest between May and November. And in the winter months, they're using all that fat for their own resources to keep themselves as much weight on them as they can. They use that resource because there's low protein in the grass. You start getting into March and April, and the grasses start coming on. The little seed heads of the grasses come on, and the cows eat a higher protein and rich diet, and that causes them to gain those extra pounds that we need, and they start putting on fat in those sort of middle spring months, and that's when they start being ready for tenderness.
Now, how many acres are you dealing with to satisfy your cattle to be grass-fed?
We run cattle on about 300 acres. We own a couple hundred acres. Then we have some nice neighbors that let us run the cows in the winter on some of their property.
They let you mow their grass.
That's basically it. Yeah, and actually they love it too because it really does help their own land. It keeps the star thistle down, and it keeps their own forage at a constant sort of height and a constant set of grasses there. And because what happens is your grass is in competition with itself. So when you allow the good grasses to remain and go through their proper cycle, then it doesn't allow the bad grasses to come in and take over.
You know, and a lot of people don't realize the eco-environment that pasture has. It's not just you drive by so many pastures here and you see the grass, but you don't realize everything that's involved.
It is a full ecosystem for quality forage and for pastures, and that's why now this year we have added chicken and pork. So we have a sizable flock of chicken running around after the cows. They go in and eat all the parasites, and they spread out all that good fertilizer those cows are leaving out there back in. They also, with the hogs and adding lamb now, each of the different animals eats a little bit differently, and they complement one another as far as maximizing and growing the best possible grass that we can.
Now, we couldn't talk about your farm without talking about the family aspect of it, because that's a big part of your operation is the family, and you have your 2 daughters here. How important is the family to your farm?
The family's everything. There is no farm without a family. The farm is there because of the family. Not only do we enjoy working together on the farm, but we also in combination with homeschool, we have academic homeschool, and then we have farming homeschool and canning homeschool, and just life becomes a continuous set of sort of education as well as challenges that we move through together as a family. And so that creates a bonding element that's just not possible on a more traditional city sort of setting.
Well, when you're certainly together that many hours and doing different projects, the farm chores are more than just chores.
They are. They're and we don't even look at them as chores because it's just a lifestyle. It's just a way of life. So normally our routine is, for example, the younger ones are feeding the cats and the dogs. The middle-aged girls who are 10, 11 years old, now 11 and 12, are milking the cows, and their responsibility is for our little milking herd. And then the older kids, Tyler and Zachary, are out doing the irrigation and also watering the garden, helping grow the fruit trees. So we each have our little place. We each have a cog in the wheel, and it provides a real sense of identity for the kids, and it provides a real sense of purpose. They have a certain confidence that builds because they know that they're contributing to the family business, and they know that without them, we wouldn't be able to survive as a family.
All important life lessons.
Very much, yes.
Now, are you selling out of the farm or just here at the market?
We have open freezer days on Fridays for people to come out and learn about the farming methods that we're using in our pasture rotations and the variety of livestock that we have working in a biodiversity together. And we also sell through the various growers markets for this Nevada County Growers Market, which is in Grass Valley North Star House on Saturdays, here on Tuesdays, and in Penn Valley on Thursdays.
So you guys are plenty busy.
Plenty busy.
All right, well, listen, thanks a lot. And how do they find your place? How do they want to go out there on a Friday and examine your operation?
The best way is to contact us through our website and our email that's found in our website. Also through the directory of Nevada County Grown, we're listed. And our website is www.familyfriendlyfarms.ca. That's CA for California.
Got it. Well, listen, thanks a lot for spending some time here on the Food and Farm Show. And I'm sure we'll catch up with you later on and hope to make a trip out to your farm as well.
Love to see you. Thanks a lot.
Well, as you can see, there's a lot of interesting growers here at the market. We're going to take our second break, and when we come back, it's Janey Powers and Backyard Chickens.
Anything Green Hydroponics is your source for hydrosystems, grow lights, and soils. Anything Green offers a complete range of organic nutrients as well as fungicides, miticides, and predatory bugs. Anything Green Hydroponics has just received this year's soil. Get your totes, pallets, or individual bags. Stay tuned for future workshops. It's all at Anything Green Hydroponics.
Grass Valley Hay and Feed Supply is dedicated to the health of your pets and livestock. They offer the top brands in nutrition and carry the complete line of products from Bar Ale and Purina animal feeds along with Diamond and Canaday. They carry rice and wheat hay bales for your gardening needs, as well as alfalfa, grass hay, and grain for your livestock. It's Grass Valley Hay and Feed Supply, supporting Nevada County agriculture since 1992.
Spring is here. Time to visit the Garden Center at A to Z Supply. We have everything you need to plant it, grow it, preserve it, and eat it. With a master gardener and full-time beekeepers on staff, the Garden Center carries a wide selection of organic plants, along with people and pet-friendly products. And don't forget our weekly workshops at the Garden Center at A to Z Supply.
Welcome back to the Food and Farm Show. Time for another segment on backyard chickens with Janey Powers.
And then we talked about the ornamental breeds. Those are the ones that you see in the chicken books, you know, the fancy ones with the Phyllis Diller hair and so forth. And these are great, but they're not egg-laying chickens because they have been bred particularly to be ornamental birds, to be the kind that you see at the big chicken shows. So the breeders don't care if they lay eggs or not. They just want them to look pretty. The big choice, it really boils down to what we want for a backyard bird, and we want the dual-purpose breed. That is because they're large, which means that if you do want to have a Sunday dinner, you've got a nice meaty bird there. And also, because they're large, they're not going to look as attractive to the hawks and the foxes and the coyotes because they can look at them, and they might only weigh 5 pounds, but they, with all the feathers and fluff, they can look like they weigh about 12 pounds. And this makes, you know, a small predator think, oh, maybe I don't want to deal with that. They're also very hardy. They're self-reliant. Most of them lay brown eggs, and that is sort of the egg color of choice these days. And you won't believe, but many years ago, people thought white eggs were the best kind of eggs to have. And then, for some reason, they decided that brown eggs were better than white eggs. And then, green eggs were even better than brown eggs. And now, extra dark brown eggs are even better than that. So tell me, if you had your choice between white eggs, brown eggs, dark brown eggs, green eggs, which one is going to be the best for you? Exactly right. Oh, you guys listened last time. You're right. They're all the same. I had one lady say, well, I would like to have green eggs because I like the looks at them, but I don't think I could eat them. Well, I had to explain to her that they're green on the outside, but inside they look just like, you know, all the other eggs. So we talked about the different kinds of birds that are good for your classic barnyard chicken. The sex link, and like I said last time, they're not kinky, not kinky. And here's what they look like. There are different types of sex-linked chickens, and sex-linked just means that they're bred so that when they're chicks, the male chickens are a different color from the females. So it makes it easy for the hatcheries to tell which ones are the girls and which ones are the guys. There's different kinds of sex-linked chickens. There's the red sex-link and the black sex-link, and they have different names. You might see them advertised as black stars, red stars, golden comets, cinnamon comets, all that. They're all the same thing. They're sex-links, but it's a marketing thing. I mean, do you want to buy a red sex-link, or would you like to buy a golden comet? Yeah, right? Okay, we talked about the Rhode Island Red. This is sort of your chicken of your grandmother's time. These are good layers. They can be aggressive. Usually the Rhode Island Red will be the queen of the chicken house. If you have a Rhode Island Red rooster, then you're probably in big trouble. The Barred Rock, another classic chicken, if you can remember chickens from your grandmother's time.
Thanks a lot, Janey. For more information on backyard chickens, remember you can see Janey's segment each week right here on the Food and Farm Show. Time for our final break of the day. When we come back, we're going to learn all about soil from Ian Murray. You're watching the Food and Farm Show right here on the Touchdown Productions Network. Nevada County Farm Supply has been part of the agricultural scene since 1993. Their staff consists of a certified crop advisor, licensed pest control advisor, and irrigation auditor. In Penn Valley, they have a full-service nursery with over 500 varieties of plants and garden enhancements. In Grass Valley, they have a warehouse full of soil amendments, fertilizers, and nutrients. Nevada County Farm Supply, powerful knowledge and innovative solutions.
Briar Patch Co-op and Natural Foods Community Market offers organic produce from over 30 regional farms and buys local organic produce from farms like River Hill, Sweet Roots, First Rain, Pyramid, and Mooney Flat. You can trust the Patch to hold their producers to the highest standards and always be certified organic. So get to the Patch, the Briar Patch, for organic produce.
Anything Green Hydroponics is your source for hydro systems, grow lights, and soils. Anything Green offers a complete range of organic nutrients as well as fungicides, miticides, and predatory bugs. Anything Green Hydroponics has just received this year's soil. Get your totes, pallets, or individual bags. Stay tuned for future workshops. It's all at Anything Green Hydroponics.
Welcome back to the Food and Farm Show. You know, soil is the bedrock of your whole garden. Whether you're doing raised beds, whether you're planting in the ground, the composition of your soil, the amendments that you put in, the amount of oxygen are all going to determine what kind of success you have with your garden each and every year. And it always changes, so you got to be on top of it. Joining us today is Ian Murray from Hansen Bros, a soil expert who's going to help us out here at the Hope and Prayer Farm. Ian, thanks a lot for coming down today, and welcome to the Food and Farm Show.
Thank you for having me out today.
Now, how long have you been playing in the dirt? I know you loved the dirt and the soil composition.
I grew up with my grandma, so I've been around it my whole life. Professionally, this will be my 10th season playing with dirt and different amendments and mixed designs and stuff like that.
Well, there's a certain comfort that comes from playing in the dirt. I know I find that when I'm touching it, when I'm working with the dirt, it really grounds you.
Yeah, it's relaxing, and that's what I like about it. It's something that I can go home after a long day of work, and me and my son can go out in the backyard and garden and play. And like yesterday was his 3rd birthday, and we spent the whole afternoon out harvesting the rest of our carrots, and, you know, he loved it. So
how fun is that? Now, what's the most common question that people ask you when they find out that you're a dirt specialist, or when you go to some of these groups where we first met you and you're talking to people?
Unfortunately, probably the most common question I get is, why didn't my tomatoes grow last year? And unfortunately, there's a lot of different things that can cause that. It could have been poor nutrients in the soil, too much water, soil holding too much water, not holding enough water, not enough air. There's a lot of factors in there, and that's part of the reason why I'm out here today, so we can check out some different dirt and talk about some of that stuff.
And this is going to be a real good experience for you at home to watch, to see how this transformation takes place. What we're standing in right now is our garden area that is in front of the property, and we have probably 30 feet here by 10 feet across, 12 feet across. So it's a little plot of land, probably similar to something that you have, and it's overwintered right now after we stripped out all what was grown. This ground was broken for the very first time last year. So Ian, what are your observations right now and coming in and taking a look at this?
Well, first thing that I've noticed, and actually we're not looking too bad here. I noticed you got some rice hulls on the ground, so that's mixed in to help break up for aeration. You got decent color standing on it. It's not too hard packed. You don't have a lot of clay, so really we don't have a lot of work to do here. In the ground's not quite as crucial. Like, I actually have one neighbor that she plants directly in her clay soil. She just fertilizes. So it can happen. You don't need to rely on the drainage as much and stuff like that, because it is naturally in the ground. So pretty much I'm going to grab a pitchfork and break it open, and we're going to see what we have.
All right, so Ian's going to go over there and grab a pitchfork. And we're going to be working this soil this year with some manual tools. Last year we brought out our rototiller and kind of plowed it all up, but that was the very first breaking. This year we're in the second year of production on this land. So let's go ahead and see what Ian finds here.
One of the main things you got to look for when you're planting in the ground is basically what they call the tilth of the soil, which is the texture and the feel. You want soil which actually you're in pretty good shape. You don't want a lot of clay in it. So if it's real sticky, kind of soapy feeling, then the air is not going to be able to flow through. At the same time, you don't want it too sandy, where all the water will just drain right out. But you do want some grit, some aggregation for airflow and moisture flow. And actually, you're doing pretty good here. You're actually, for around here, you're pretty close to what they consider a true sandy loam, where you got a little clay, a little sand. You could rub it on your fingers and you get that kind of little grainy, gritty feel, but you don't get that soapy texture with it at the same time.
Well, like I was saying, we put 2 yards of garden dirt on top of what was here after we initially pulled out all the weeds, and it had a very nice, actually, forest floor that you were describing yesterday. Why don't you tell people what the forest floor is?
Well, basically what humus is, and the goal you have in your garden is to build up humus reserves, which can be through adding natural organic matter, feeding the microorganisms in your soil. But basically, the definition of humus is forest floor. What falls out of your trees, lands on the ground, builds up in layers, and naturally decomposes into the soil is what actually feeds the trees and the shrubs and the plants and stuff, so you get growth the following year. So that's what we're going to focus on, is doing organic gardening, which is where you're feeding the soil itself to feed the plants, versus doing chemical gardening where you're feeding the plants directly and ignoring the soil health.
So what we had here originally, this soil hadn't been disturbed probably since 1980 or 85. It had a very thick forest floor of pine needles and leaves that had built up over the years, and we stripped that away originally and then added the dirt on top of that.
Yeah, and actually, like I said, you're in pretty good condition here. I think probably what we're going to do is we're going to measure the area, do some quick calculations to figure out how many yards of material we need, and we'll talk about how we calculate that out, and then we'll figure out what combination. Probably a little organic compost, a little humus, stuff like that, to just work in the soil and help give it some new life, nutrients for the plants this summer.
Okay, well, let's do that right now.
So basically what I'm doing now is I've got my measuring wheel here, and we're going to figure out the square footage of your garden. Basically, this is a walking tape measure, so we don't have to drag one all over the place and have 2 people holding it. So got to figure out the square footage. The length is 50 feet and the width is 18 feet. So basically the way you figure out how much material you need, and it can get a little complicated, and anybody could call us at any time and we could help you with it. But we're going to take and figure out the square footage. So 50 times 18, so we're looking at 900 square feet. And I do this every day, so I know how to cheat. We want 2 inches of depth. So each yard will do 162 square feet, 2 inches deep. So basically we're looking at 5.5 yards of material that we're going to lay out on the whole area. For people at home, one easy way to do it if you remember or write this down, each yard 1 inch deep will do 324 square feet. So then from there, if you want to do 2 inches deep, you divide that by 2 and it's 162 square feet. 3 inches deep, divide by 3 and it's 108 square feet, and so on and so forth. But if you just remember 324 square feet per inch, and you could divide down from there, and that way you can calculate your own square footage to figure out how much material you need.
And of course, you could always tune in and replay this on our program and get the measurements that way. I didn't realize we had 50 feet here. I was just estimating earlier. And 18, that's 900 square feet. That's a pretty good size piece of dirt to grow some things in.
Yeah, that's actually a real big size. I mean, you got a few things like your water spigot and your tree and stuff like that to take into account, so you're not going to use the whole area, but just in this area here, you're going to grow more food than you guys are going to eat yourself. So
excellent. So this is the in the dirt part of Hope and Prayer, and he's taken the measurements right here. And then what about the soil testing? How did you want to do that? We're going to send that off to a lab.
Yeah, we're going to take soil samples from the in the dirt and your raised beds, and I'm going to drop those off with Matt and Ron at Nevada County Farm Supply. That's who does all of our testings for our dirt at Hansen Bros. We have all of our products tested at least every 3 months to make sure that we're as accurate and consistent with our products as we can be. Plus, that's the guys I go to when I have any problems with my own garden at home. So they'll be able to help us out here.
Well, if you're a fan of the Food and Farm Show, you know that the Nevada County Farm Supply is one of our sponsors that brings you the program each week as well. And so that's nice how that all kind of ties in.
Yep, they're great guys to work with over there, and they'll be able to give us a lot of professional advice on this one. So
they are. They've already forgotten more than I'll probably ever know. Thanks a lot, Ian, and we'll have you back when we get our garden together and we get our amendments in there that you're going to make for us, and we'll reveal the results of the soil sampling that you took. Whether you're growing flowers, whether you're growing vegetables, it's always good to get advice, as much advice as you can, from your local friends and gardeners that are doing the same thing as you. That's our show today from the Nevada County Growers Market right here at the Rood Center. Be sure to join us each and every week on our YouTube channel, and of course Mondays at 6:30 on NCTV Channel 11, Suddenlink Channel 16, and at the Food and Farm channel on YouTube. The best way to watch the show, because you can watch it whenever you want. 2 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, stop it, start it again, and you get all the back episodes of the Food and Farm Show. This is show number 18, so lots of viewing out there for you each and every week right here. Thanks for joining us. For Cheryl Noble, I'm Gil Dominguez. We'll see you next week right here on the Food and Farm Show. Good night, everybody. Be sure to join us each week right here on NCTV Channel 11 at 6:30 to 7:30, and of course on our YouTube channel, The Food and Farm Show.